Hi ladies, welcome back to my channel. Today I am talking about homeschooling during a pandemic. It just seems appropriate since we have been doing this for almost a year now. So today I am cozied up on my bed. Just wanted to sit down and have a little conversation about what it has been like homeschooling during a pandemic. If you're new around here, my name is Nikki and I am a third-year homeschooling mom to 5 little boys. They are ages 7 all the way down to a newborn, and oh man, it has been a rough year. Now this video is not to talk about all of the really obvious hard things that we've all kind of dealt with this past year, but to kind of just get all of the stuff out that I feel like no one's really talking about. So obviously as homeschooling parents, we're used to being home, and I think when everything first happened last year, those first couple of months of quarantine, we admittedly didn't feel a whole, it wasn't a huge shift for us. Yes, if you notice, the lighting is going in and out because I am in my room and I live in Michigan where the sun decides to shine and then it doesn't. But when quarantine first happened, yes, we, some of our activities got shut down, quit. Our co-op, we had to stop going to co-op. My one son was in a dance class, that was canceled. But otherwise, those first couple months, we really didn't feel this huge burden that most of the world felt. A lot of parents whose kids were no longer in school, who they had to find care for or figure out how to school at home rather, how to do this virtual schooling. There's lots of things that other parents had to deal with that were very, very hard. And we didn't really feel a lot of those hard things because we're already home a lot. And, like I said, aside from a couple of the things that we were involved in getting canceled, we didn't feel this huge, overpowering, sense of, what now? And then summer came and it felt like we were just outside. It was, we were done with school for the summer. It was just summer. And it wasn't until the fall that we really, that is when, for me, as we kind of got into those fall months, September and October, that I really started to feel the weight of this pandemic. And I think that other people just assume that if you homeschool, that this really hasn't been a big deal for us because we're already home. It's not a big deal. You already do this anyway. It shouldn't have, it really hasn't affected you that much. And to be fair, sure, our schooling wise, no, that hasn't really changed much. But even us as homeschoolers, this has been really hard. It has been hard for us, and I know for most homeschooling families it has been incredibly difficult, and I feel like no one's really talked about that part. While no, we don't have to figure out where our kids are going to go to school, how they're going to get school done, all of those things, all of the things that we as homeschooling parents have had at our disposal, all that was taken away. No field trips, no library trips, no co-op, no play dates. All of these things were just taken away. And this school year for us has been hard. It's been good. There have been really good aspects of it, but it's been really hard, and I don't think that it's fair to diminish that just because we already homeschooled before the pandemic started. And while our schoolwork may have not necessarily been affected, even us as homeschoolers are not used to just being home. I mean, one of the best things of homeschooling is that we get to do all the things whenever we want to, and we have not been able to do that. This year has really lacked in all of the extra things, and now that we are in the thick of winter, and we live in Michigan, so it is like we are in it. It has been really challenging to not have anywhere to go and have nothing else to do. Even in the winter, we're used to being able to go to the library or going to the science center or having co-op, and we have not had that this year. And I really just wanted to kind of shed some light on why that is hard, and why even for us this has been very challenging, and just in different ways. Like, no, we are not having to figure out virtual schooling or remote schooling or anything like that, but we still have to be home with our kids and make it through this pandemic with our mental health at a healthy level. And that has proven to be very difficult. Now, as we go through the winter, things are starting to open up a little bit more for us. In our state in particular, things have been very locked down for a long time, and we are just now able to do things like eat in a restaurant. So obviously this may be different for where you live, but for us here, like, it has been very challenging. And I think no one has really talked about that because they just expect that everything's fine because we're used to being home. But everything has not been fine. It has been really hard. And, the things that we found normalcy in, we haven't been able to do any of those things in a normal way in a long time. For example, our library has been open since, I think, September. They did shut down for a period of time, but they have been open. However, what makes the library fun for little kids? All of the other things that they get to do with the library. I mean, yes, of course they get to pick out books, but there's also games and puzzles, and like our library has like little computers for them to like play on. All of those things are gone. So going to a simple trip to the library that I used to use as a way to break up our day or to break up our week, especially in the winter, that one little simple thing has been taken away. There's nothing in our library. We only get to go in and pick out books and leave. That's it. And obviously that is great, but every homeschool mom knows that a library trip isn't really a library trip if you can't make like an afternoon of it. And not having like those little things to use as a way to break up our week, or a way to like get our kids out into the world to explore, has been so hard. We have not been on any type of field trip this year, and that really stinks. Like, it's so hard because our first couple of years homeschooling, we did all of the things. Like, we would, did our homeschool, we would go to science centers and the library and museums and see friends and have our co-op. And not having that this year has just been a struggle. And I really wanted to share this video because I know that I am not alone, and I know that it has been hard for every single human. But in this little space of the internet, for me, I wanted to talk specifically to you, another homeschool mom who has been at home with her kids for almost a year. And I wanted to tell you that it's okay if you feel like this has been really hard for you. I think for me, I have shied away from being vocal about that because I feel like my hard things aren't as bad as other parents' hard things during this pandemic. But I've finally come to terms with they're just different hard things. They're just different. My hard thing is that I have been at home with my kids for an entire year with nowhere to go and nothing to do. And I am a homebody. I'm an introvert. I love being home. But even this has been hard for me. And I want to encourage you as a fellow homeschool mom that I see you and I validate your feelings of feeling like this is hard. We're all done now, and just have hope for the future and hope that the next school year, this next year, will be better for us, will be easier, and that we will gain some sense of normalcy back into our life. I will say that I have found joy in the things that we have been able to do while being home, and you know, there's a lot of things that have kind of helped me to slow down and to appreciate more. And there's never been a year that I have appreciated the ability to homeschool my kids more than I have this year. That is one thing that I have absolutely taken out of this entire experience. However, all that to say, while I'm so grateful and so appreciative of it, it doesn't mean that it's not hard. And it's okay to say that. It's okay to be vocal about that. And remember that our hard things aren't easier or harder than other people's. They're just different. So with that, thank you so much for watching this. I hope that it was an encouragement to you, and I hope you feel validated in feeling like this is hard, but we're gonna make it. We were equipped for this. God has called us to do this homeschool life for a reason, and this too shall pass. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a big ol' thumbs up and subscribe for more videos, and I will see you in my next one.